Hello, welcome back to another episode of Inside Out Universe. Today I have a very, very special guest here with me. Her name is Sahar Golshani. Many of you guys already know her. She's a content creator, she's a business owner, and she also has her own podcast called Unfiltered, which I've actually been on before.
December 31st, 2020.
Is that how long it's been?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, welcome. It's nice to have you. Thank you for coming on my bootleg podcast.
Dude, I was just literally telling her, bootleg podcast, my ass. This is a production. Okay, if you see how I record my podcast, I'm like in my underwear, sitting on my couch. It's not visual, by the way, too. Like, we don't film anything. And I'm just like, anyways, and then it's like, it's so like mine is bootleg.
Yeah.
Mine is ghetto compared
I don't
to
think
this.
that, but honestly, like,
You have lights. You have 3 fucking cameras. Look, there's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know, because for me, I like to be able to, like, I know podcasts are more supposed to be things that you listen to, but
not
I
in
really
the social
like,
media age, dude. You're doing it right. Like, I wish I had the time to, like,
so
do
let's
this.
set you up.
I don't have the time.
I'd love to see. Okay, because last time when I went to film at her, to do the podcast at her place, you had the most beautiful place ever, and now you're saying you've moved, but I'm sure your place is still fucking phenomenal.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet it is.
My boyfriend now likes to make fun of me. He's like, your house looks like a grandma's house or like an antique store, and I'm like, whatever, bitch.
I love it.
You don't know style. Yeah, that's what I was telling your guy when I was coming up. I was like, literally, this touches my soul, because one thing that I can't fucking... Okay, tell me if you're on the same page. I can't stand this whole, like... I mean, not to say, like, your chairs are kind of the aesthetic, but, like, the whole, like, beige, no color, white aesthetic that all, like, the clean girlies have.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm the same way. I really like everything. Like, my boyfriend knows I like everything vintage.
Oh, same.
So, like, all of my furniture downstairs is from, like, the 60s and the 50s. Like,
Nice.
I, like, went out of my way to find pieces. Because to me, like, where you live, like, says a lot about your personality.
Yes.
And then also, it, like, gives you whatever energy you kind of put into it.
100%.
And I don't know if I want, like, a clean girl energy.
Well,
in my
that's why I
house.
don't trust those bitches, because they're all, like, crazy. Their houses look like mental hospitals, so of course
feel
they're
you.
crazy, dude.
I tried to do this room a little bit more neutral.
Yeah,
just because I don't know, like, what, like, first of all, like, a lot of people, like, visually don't like to see a lot going on. My friends being some of those people, because they're all friggin' ADHD and can't, like, fucking focus on shit.
I don't know. I have a severe ADHD and I still love chaos, so I don't know. I'm
Really?
like weird, yeah.
I'm such an organized... Are you organized?
It depends on who you ask.
That's so funny. I'm such an organized person, so, like, for me, even my chaos is organized.
Yes and no. So, see, if you ask my boyfriend, who is, like, perfectionist, anal, like, what is it called? OCD.
Yeah.
He's like, you're a pig. And I'm like,
Really?
listen, if you ask me where something is, it might be in a pile, but I know which pile it's in.
That's so funny. Ali Rizzo says the same thing. My best friend, he's always saying the same thing. I'm like, dude, how do you find anything in your room? He goes, you can ask me for anything and I know exactly where it is. And I'm like, I don't understand it. But people are different. So you mentioned your boyfriend a few times. You have a boyfriend. Tell us more.
I think the last time we talked, I was still in my previous relationship, and I was I was with that guy for 10 years, which was a lot. That's like my entire 20s.
Yeah.
And it was pretty toxic, pretty shitty. I was like just depressed. I was a completely different person. I was not myself anymore, essentially.
I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah, like, am I not so different from when you first met me?
I
like,
didn't know you too well when I met you initially to do your podcast.
But just comparing this to that.
But when I met you, you were a lot more, like, bland. You know, now you're a lot more, like, edgy and, like, yourself. And I really
100%.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was just, like, you know how they say, like, you dim your shine?
Yeah.
Because the other person is also bland?
I feel that so much.
You know what I mean?
Don't
So
even
you
understand
match the blandness fully. So I was just, like, super depressed, hated him. Finally got out of it after 10 years, thank God, because of COVID, actually. Everyone likes to hate on COVID, but I'm like, COVID was the best fucking thing that ever happened to me.
For real, for me too.
So then, I broke up. I went to LA for like 3 months, and I stayed with my friend Irfan and just had like the best time in LA, being a complete hoe, as I should. I think I earned it, literally.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. 10 years is a really long time.
Fully.
Holy.
Imagine, like, same dick for 10 years. That's
I was going to
wild.
say, was this like 10 monogamous years?
Yeah, 10
Are you
monogamous
into
years.
monogamy?
No, not anymore.
Okay, so
But I
you're
was
not.
then.
Okay.
Yeah, so whatever you're into. But yeah, I was just with him, and then I went to LA, went insanely wild because I was like, I need to, and then I came back, and I was like, okay, let's go through Toronto.
Let's recalibrate.
Literally. So I did that for a few months, and then I met my now boyfriend. We call him Blondie on the podcast because I've never
dying
shared.
to know more about this because I see you post pictures of him and blur out his face.
Yeah.
And then also he has a nickname between you and your fans.
Because when I first met him, he was blonde, and I obviously was on all the apps because I'm like, let's see what the dating apps have to offer. I was on the apps. I am attracted to men who have dark features. So that could be Iranians, that could be Arabs, that could be some Italians, Greeks, whatever. I don't find white, blonde hair, blue eyes attractive.
Yeah.
Obviously that makes my, sample size a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
I do gravitate towards Iranians more, maybe sometimes, if they're my type of Iranian where they can kick it.
Yeah,
you know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
If they can hang.
If they can hang, you can get it. You know what I mean? So then, obviously, I see him, and I'm like, oh my god, an Iranian guy with blonde hair, what the fuck? Okay, Bad Bunny wannabe. So I swipe on him, and we start talking, and I had, strict rules for who I would date after my ex, and I was like, I'm never going to date someone younger than me.
Why, was your ex younger
My
than
ex
you?
was 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
And I'm never going to date someone who's been here in Canada less than I have. Because my ex, when I had met him, he had only been in Canada for 3 years.
Okay, fair.
Lo and behold, Blondie comes up, and it started as a whole friends with benefits thing because the sex was really good and the dick was fire, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. And again, he'd only been here for 3 years at the time, but what made me say okay to it was his English was immaculate, which I think honestly this new generation of Iranians coming out of Iran, their English is so good. You're like, were you born here? What? They have no accent. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just gravitated towards him, and I was like, okay, fine, let's give it a go. But as again, just fuck buddies. And then 6 months in, 6 months in, he was like, I love you, and I was like, why you? Shut up. Literally, that was my reaction. He was just like, right after fucking the post-nut clarity, he's like, I want to tell you something. Funny. And I'm like, what? He's like, I don't know, but I think it's going to push you away. And I was like, try me. He's like, I love you. And I was like, why?
You're already in the elevator on your way down.
And I was like, and it wasn't why as in why do you love me? Because obviously you love me. But it was more you know what I mean? But it was more why are you saying this and ruining our
what
dynamic?
We have. Yeah, for sure.
Now that we talk about it, though, I'm I was kind of in denial. I did like him. I don't know if
you didn't say I love you back?
No.
When did you say you love him? Did you say you love him?
Yeah, maybe a month or two later.
Okay. So, and how did you guys, because you obviously were coming out of a 10-year relationship that didn't necessarily end well for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what his background with his relationship situation was, but how did you guys agree on something that worked for both of you?
So, you mean being open and all that?
Yeah.
I think from the beginning, as soon as the last relationship ended, I was like, I think I'm polyamorous. I can love 1 million people, and I can have 10 boyfriends, and a girlfriend, and a sugar daddy, and a slave, and I can have all the things. And then
and a slave.
Literally. And then as it went on, as my feelings for him kind of increased, I was kind of okay, I don't know if polyamory is right for me. I still don't want to be monogamous. I know that for sure. I don't think that I could share you emotionally. I don't think I'd be okay with myself even having another whole relationship outside of you, nor am I okay with you having one. But I think physically we can still have fun with other people as long as it just stays physical. And why the fuck not?
Is he okay with it?
Yeah. He was just so crazy.
What an enlightened Persian man.
Thank you, exactly.
Wow, we love it. Shouts out to Blondie.
Shout out Blondie, literally. That's another thing too. I was like, damn, the fact that you're into this, you're okay with it, and you're so comfortable with yourself and your sexuality, it's
that's super
I couldn't
cool.
even.
Do you do families?
What do you mean?
Are you into meeting each other's families and stuff like that? What's that dynamic
So my family lives in Vancouver because that's where I grew up, and his family's still in Iran. He's met my mom and my sister because they visited Toronto a couple times, and then just this year we went to Turkey to meet his family.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, it was cute.
How was that?
It was cute. They're really nice. They're so like his mom is so loving to a fault where I felt suffocated. Like,
Really?
but like I can't even complain because like it could be worse. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I could have had
100%.
like a butchy and bitchy. Like butchy and
A
bitchy.
butchy bitch.
A butchy bitchy mother-in-law. No, she was too nice. Where it was just like too much taught and I was being
Okay.
suffocated because I'm not used to that, right? Like
Yeah.
I've
Does
never
it
been
give
to
you
Iran.
anxiety?
No, it infuriates me.
Really?
I just want like,
That
can you
kind of
stop?
stuff gives me anxiety. Like
Really?
like that aspect of the Persian culture gives me anxiety because I just
Why?
don't understand why we have to like have so much like off and like be like like so like not straightforward with the things we want to say and like
It's all lying.
I know
It's
it makes me so
like,
uncomfortable
Yeah, it doesn't make it give me anxiety though. It just makes me mad. I'm like, can you just not?
because I just feel like I can't be myself.
No, because I don't give a fuck. That's the secret. You gotta not give a fuck. Like literally,
That's so funny.
You just gotta not give a fuck and just do what you're gonna do. Because I still did that anyways. She'd be like, "Do you want this?" I'm like, "No." Do you want this? No. Do you want this? And I just give her like
Okay.
straight answers.
Was his family also like enlightened Persian family
No,
or like more
They're
traditional?
like, well, they live in Iran. Yeah, they're
more
very
traditional,
yeah,
and that's
anyone-
okay with
yeah.
you, right? Because you're not.
Yeah, I'm not
fucking
married
his
to his
family.
family. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. And as long as
Wait,
their
I'm
son
not
is
married
okay,
to his family.
yeah, literally.
Oh, we're using the M word.
No, I'm not even.
Long way. That's hilarious. No,
Yeah.
but that's honestly that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast. And I'm sure everybody watching this already knows you. You're such a fucking household name. But
household name
for sure, everybody I brought
girl
up,
got me sounded like Febreze
girl,
here,
at
like
least
Windex. Like,
Windex. That's so funny. I always say that. No, but
That's
everybody I speak to, at least maybe it's like the Persian community, but I feel like everyone knows
well,
you.
like fun fact. Again, I don't think that's true, but fun fact. My podcast, because of the content matter and because of what I talk about, every episode gets like upwards of like 800,000 streams.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. But if you look at my Instagram, I've lost followers every year. Like,
Because it's different crowds.
different crowd, but also it just shows that everyone likes to listen to the crazy kinky sex stories of Sahar Golshani, but they don't want anyone to know that they like follow me because it's like,
Oh, that's crazy.
do you know what I mean?
Is your so for people who don't know Sahar, one thing you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason why, for example, I wanted to have her on this podcast is because she's a Persian woman who's doing a lot of very what's considered controversial or taboo
yeah.
in our culture. So, for example, talking about sex, being in open relationships, just being open overall.
Yeah.
And this is why I wanted to have you on here. But this is also kind of what she's talking about, where she struggles to kind of like find her audience, I guess.
There is an audience. They just don't want to admit that they're
Don't
my
want
audience.
people to
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't care either. But it's just like, fuck, man.
So
like,
what's your ideal audience? What kind of people do you like to be in your fandom?
honestly, anyone. I don't really care. I think everyone, like the reason why I shifted my podcast and why I started talking about like sex and kinks and open relationships and different sexualities and stuff is because no one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like if you think of maybe not me because I grew up here like and I went through sex ed in school, but a lot of kids who grew up in Iran, they don't even get sex ed.
That's
I think
true.
one of the biggest problems in Iranian culture and maybe Middle Eastern culture as a whole is that a lot of kids learn how to have sex through watching porn. And that's like the worst thing because it's not
realistic,
real.
for sure.
So like that's why you get all these guys who are just like a pump and dump and the girls who are like like you know moaning at fake and that's like you know what I mean it's really bad and they're not having good sex and they think that they are. And like some of the craziest questions that I get on my podcast like girls will be like how do I know if I've had an orgasm? Like what does an orgasm feel like? Because they've never done it and they're like out here like giving
and your audience is majority Persian, right?
It's actually started shifting, but yeah, majority.
So these people that are asking these questions are what?
Persian girls, Persian guys.
Damn, you're doing God's work, eh?
Dude. That's literally why I do it, honestly. Because
That's so cool.
I don't like make any financial gain from it. It's literally just like I do it. Everyone's like, why don't you take sponsors? I'm like, I don't want to. I just want it to be like something that I do for the good karma points.
Yeah.
And I just want people to have better sex, essentially, and just be more comfortable with it. Like the same way that I can sit here and be like. Whatever, like last week I got fucked up the ass and you know what I mean? Like it's just normal. Yeah. Like I want people to be able to talk about it normally because it's not a bad thing. And I think in our culture, we're so conditioned to believe that it's a dirty thing, it's a bad thing.
That's so
Hey,
true.
babe, we don't talk about this. Like, fuck off, dude. Like,
Yeah, that aspect of it I agree with. I don't know in which one of the episodes, but in one of the episodes I actually briefly touched on this because my family was very like, well, my mom for the most part didn't really have a say in my upbringing because of traditional Persian family, and I
Yeah.
grew up in Iran too.
oh, really?
And yeah, I did.
How old were you when you came out?
I went back and forth. I came here when I was in grade 3. I went back when I
Mm.
was in grade 5, and then I didn't come back again until I was in high school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I was back and forth, and my dad was very much that, very like everything that was. I remember my dad used to have this rule where, like, if I were leaving the house, ever since I was young, this is gonna sound so insane to you and everybody watching, he would like put like his 4 fingers on, like, you know, the dip in your neck,
Okay.
like
Your
here.
clavicle or whatever
Yeah,
it's called?
and if what I was wearing, the collar was lower than those 4 fingers, I wasn't allowed to wear it. So even and at such a super young age, and when you're young, you don't really conceptualize things as being sexual things.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I wore that top because
Yeah,
I
you're
liked the
like, whatever.
top,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it wasn't until he started doing that that I actually started sexualizing myself and
Yeah.
others, you know?
Exactly.
So now when I think about it, I'm like, as a parent, like, if I were to be a parent, if my goal was to prevent my kids, even if my goal was to prevent my kids from knowing about sex or having sex, I would do the exact opposite.
Yeah,
Because he's kind of
exactly.
the reason why I started sexualizing
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You
No,
know?
that's the bad thing again about Persian parents is instead of explaining to us, or I guess, yeah, explaining to us about sex, they just said, don't do it, don't do this, don't do that. And when you say don't do this to someone without an explanation, they're going to be like, well, what the fuck?
Why I'm gonna go do
Why?
it to
You
figure
know,
out
do
why.
it even more. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
for sure.
So I think to your point, like if we ever had kids, I would be the one like telling them about everything. Like that's my goal too, of being the cool aunt for all my friends. I just want to be like, yo, send them to my house. I'll hook you up
Yeah.
with condoms. What do you need? Like,
like that. What was that? The Mean Girls, the mom from Mean Girls.
literally, I'm a
Guys
cool
need
mom.
anything? Condoms.
Literally,
that's
gonna be me.
that's you with a tray.
Fully.
Do you? And I'm not asking this in any kind of weird way, just because you brought it up. Do you want to have kids eventually?
No. That's why I was a cool aunt.
It's not for you, and you know.
I think if I wanted, like, I wanted kids at one point, but now I just think I'm too selfish with my time because the older you get, the more you realize kids are an investment and they're a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like, fully. If you want to do kids right, not like in the shitty way that everyone is having kids, but in the right way, you really need to sacrifice a lot of your time, especially as a mother, to raise those kids the correct way and really set them up to be good humans.
Yeah,
I think the problem with a lot of people who are having kids, they just think, okay, that's the next step in life. And they don't even think about, can I even financially afford these kids? Can I emotionally afford these kids?
Yeah.
Which is more even important.
They're just like an accessory.
Yeah, literally, it's just the next step in life. It's the next checkbox that they have to tick. And it's
That's true.
It's crazy because whenever I talk to people about this, it's always the people who should have kids, who should and have the capacity, don't want kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And the people who are fucking idiots,
kids
they're
that
having
they
10 kids.
Yeah, should not have kids. You know what? That's actually funny. I was talking to my boyfriend about this the other day, and I was like, I definitely want to be a mom. Like, that to me has always been something I've always wanted to do.
Oh,
I'm like,
cute.
but if I wasn't, you could be the cool auntie to my kids if you want.
Fire, I'm so down. Wait, how old are you?
I'm 28 right now.
You're so young. Okay. You have time.
If I don't know, it doesn't feel that way anymore.
No, you have time.
Everything hurts, bro.
Wait until you get to my age.
How old are you?
34.
Oh, okay, nice. What do you mean?
Well,
the 30s are
still.
the best.
Yeah, no, they are. I'm just saying, if you think everything hurts now, wait until you get to your 30s.
Yeah, I know, it's fine.
My eyes, I can't see. What is that? Okay.
But yeah, I was telling my boyfriend, I'm like, if my plan, and this is so weird, but I'm like, my first plan in life my priority has always been like, okay, I want to become a mom. I want to be a good mom. How do I build my character to be like, to get to that point? How do I build my finances to get to that point? I've kind of oriented all of my goals in that direction.
Nice.
And I was like, but my backup plan is the complete opposite. My backup plan is to just fucking kill it in my career, just be a fucking bachelorette for the rest of my life, have cool ass parties at my house.
Have you seen Sex in the City?
Yeah.
Samantha Jones.
Yeah.
She is me and I am her.
That's so
Fucking
funny.
love her. She's my. I just recently watched Sex in the City. I think like a month ago. I binge watched all of it. So now I'm making all the references like a million years too late. But she is my idol.
I don't
So
think
good.
Sex in the City will ever get old.
Fair.
What do
I
you-
fucking hated Carrie though.
Why?
Cause she's a little pick me ass bitch. Like the fuck.
What
She's
makes
chaos.
someone a pick me? Can we
She
talk
did
about this?
everything for men. Like, every single decision she made was never for herself. It was always for Big, who is a fucking man.
Yeah.
Everything she did was for him. Every decision, every, like, thought was about him and for him. Fuck off. Live your own life.
Yeah, that triggers me a little bit. But when I say what
Triggers
is a pick me, this is what I mean, right? Like I feel like for the most part social media makes it seem like pick me's are like these like really mean girls who are not girls and don't like other girls and just want to get attention from guys, which is true to a certain extent. But I feel
Essentially.
like certain pick me's are also like girls who are just like deeply insecure and like seeking validation from guys.
Well, that's why they do it.
Yeah. So
It's hand in
both is
hand.
true at the same time.
It's hand in hand. It's like, that's why they do it. They're deeply insecure. They don't love themselves, so they have to get the validation from someone else who is a man. Because validation, they actually see women as lesser than and themselves as lesser than. That's why if their best friend says, "Girl, like, you're slaying," she's like, "Ugh, whatever." But if a guy says, "You're cute," she's like, "Oh my god." You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I feel that. Can I ask you a question?
Mm.
I've struggled with this a lot, and I asked one of my other friends, but she didn't really have an answer to give me. But I feel like you're the perfect person to ask.
Okay.
Okay, I have the easiest time making friends with guys.
Me too.
So easy. Like
I have trouble making girlfriends, which is so bad to say, and I wish that it pains me. It literally pains me.
it bothers me so much because I don't want to be a pick me. I want to have girlfriends. I want to.
But
do
I don't
girl
think that's
things.
you being a pick me. I just think. Wait, finish the rest of your question.
Yeah, like in every way, I want to have female friends. Like my boyfriend knows. I tell him like once a week. I'm like, oh, I wish I could do like girl things. I had
Yeah,
a girlfriend
same.
I could do girl shit with.
Girl
whatever.
nights, yeah.
Yeah, you know, or just even have those girly conversations. As much as I'm not a super girly person, I still want to talk about some girl shit I can't talk to about my boyfriend or my guy friends. But for some reason, I get extremely nervous around girls. I don't necessarily know how to communicate with girls.
Are you straight?
No.
Oh, that's why.
But I don't want to like.
You know, giggly.
But I don't want to like. But I don't like every girl I meet.
Yeah, fair. Me
You know,
too.
like
It's
same way
like
as if you're
specific
straight doesn't
girl.
mean you like every guy.
Yeah, that's true.
But like I still get so nervous. I just don't know. I feel like I struggle when I think about it. I don't know why I get like that.
So let me tell you the answer.
Okay.
After talking to my therapist extensively. Are you a girl who's very much in her masculine energy?
I would say so.
That is why. Because when you're a girl who's been hyper independent her whole life and operates more from her masculine energy, which also isn't healthy, like everyone should have a good balance. Men and women should have a balance of masculine and feminine. But when either side gets too much, and specifically when girls operate out of too much masculine energy, they kind of are operating as a man. So relating to girls who are very much in their feminine energy intimidates us and makes it harder for us to relate to them.
So you have the same problem, and this is what you're
exact
arrived
same
at.
problem.
This makes a lot of sense.
And that's why also like my best friends are all butch lesbians if they're girls.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense because they're also operating from
Same.
their masculine.
Same exact.
So
thing
I'm
with
like,
me.
kind of makes and like it sucks, but at the same time, like even when I've tried to be friends with like the girly girls, like I'm just like, no offense to all the girly girls out there, but like I just can't. I can't. I'm like cute. Like I love that for you, but like
It can never be me.
I just can't. Like I don't relate to it.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I'm the same way. Like, and I at some point I started to feel bad about it because I was like, because someone brought it to my attention and was like the same person I was telling you was like, I never know if you like me or not because every time we interact, it feels so fake.
Right.
And I'm like, I swear to God, I want nothing more than to be cool with you, but I don't know how. Like, I get so nervous.
Because girls, like more for women who operate from their feminine, it's all about like the very feminine energy, like being very caring and very like emotional and be like, oh my God, like da giving you more of that. But like again, as a woman who operates from her masculine, you're just like, yo.
yeah, for real. That's so true.
But like your yo means the same thing as hers. It's just you communicate differently because you're operating out of two different energies.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what I also feel in a weird way? I feel like girls who are girly, like more feminine, I feel like they kind of want to almost be a little bit more masculine because they see more, some of them, more masculine girls like you and me, for example, maybe not caring as much about what guys have to say, maybe not caring as much about other people's like feelings or what they want and just doing, you know, more masculine features. And that also makes me a little bit uncomfortable because I'm like, girl, you can come over here whenever you want. You can come over to the dark side.
Yeah,
like,
totally. No, true. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that could be the case. I think, again, like I said before, I think there has to be a good balance for both genders. I think both genders need a good balance of both. Because, like, what another really bad thing that we're seeing, epidemic, I guess you can say, is that we're seeing is men having too much masculine and having no feminine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where the toxic masculinity of it all comes in. So
Yeah.
I think it's just like balancing it out.
Yeah, I feel you. Where do you think that this comes from? The masculinity that's in like females like you and I, for example.
According to my therapist.
Yo, who's your therapist? You gotta slide me your number after.
She's fire. Hyper independence from a young age. So if you grew up feeling like you couldn't count on your parents, you're like, okay, I can only count on me, so I have to get my shit together. And you live a more, I guess you come out of living in a softer life, which is what a woman does, right? Women, feminine energy is to receive.
Yeah.
Masculine energy is to give and to do.
Yeah.
So if you're, in your hyper independent kind of phase when you're growing up, you just naturally go into masculine energy because you're doing.
I agree with that. How do you think you get out of that? Is there a getting out of it?
Being mindful, honestly. Something that I've been just like trying to be more mindful of and trying to do more is like asking people for help. Being okay with letting some things go and being okay with if someone gives me a compliment, I don't have to right away be like, oh my God, yeah, and I love your shirt or da da da. It could be like, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just receiving, just being mindful of receiving more and doing less. It's hard. I have to consistently remind myself because I'm also just like a type A. I love planning everything.
Me too. I'm doing mental gymnastics right now.
Fully. ADHD, type A, like literally, I'm fucked. But like still like baby steps.
Yeah.
Even so much as like, even when like we want to do date nights, I'm notoriously the planner of like all my friend groups and everyone knows I make the best plans. That's why I'm the planner.
Yeah.
But even on date nights, I've learned to just like let my boyfriend plan them. Even if it ends up being shit or whatever, not as good as I wanted. I'm like, it's okay. I'm just going to receive today. You know?
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I need to try doing that. Yeah. In terms of growing up hyper independent, I definitely had that experience. Obviously, I told you a little bit now. I grew up doing everything on my own. I moved out at a very young age.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah.
How old were you when you moved out?
When I officially moved out, I was around, I think I want to say 16 or 17. But I was like basically moved out by the time I was 14, 15.
Crazy.
Because I just like, I didn't like being home. I did not have a good relationship with.
Did you move out when you were in Iran or here?
Here. Yeah, here.
Right.
Definitely not in Iran.
Damn, that's young.
I know.
What did you do? Where did you go?
This is so crazy. I lived with friends for a little while and, did the whole couch surfing, whatever thing. And then when I was around 16 or 17, I got a job. And then I started working, and then I got a place that was $400 a month with like so many other people in the house. Yeah. And then I went from $400 to $600 a month, and then to $800, and then I had like 2 roommates, and then I had 1 roommate, and then I moved out by myself.
Right.
But when I was in my undergrad, I was working like 3 jobs, and it wasn't ideal, but like I preferred that to going home and to not being able to be myself.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
I moved out at 19, so a little bit later, but yeah, I get it.
I was gonna ask you about that because I always, even last time when we spoke a little bit before I came on your podcast, I was like, I do feel like for some weird reason, I feel like you and I have a lot in common.
Similar. Yeah.
So you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. What was
I've talked about it on my podcast already.
I figured. That's why I was like,
there's nothing I don't talk about. I love it. She texted me. She's like, so what do you want to drink? What time are you gonna be here? And what do you not talk about? And I was like, whiskey, 7, nothing.
Yeah, straight shooter. Yeah. So what was your experience like growing up?
So I grew up in a super religious Baha'i family. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Yeah,
religion.
Of course.
And so just growing up in that, I was very indoctrinated to begin with. I was super religious at first. Like I would fast and pray and all that shit. Went to pilgrimage. But then as I got older, I was the smartest person in my family. And I was actually reading the scriptures and reading the writings. And I just found so many like hypocrisies and so many things that just didn't add up. And every time I had a question, I was answered with like some stupid answer that like didn't answer my question. It was just kind of like, oh, one day you will see. And it's like, what? Like answer my fucking question, bro. So then it started to wear off because I was reading more, and then I was seeing my family not act like they would act like they're so religious, but not actually follow the rules. Yeah. Which is like not just in that faith, but even in the Islamic faith. It's like and in any faith.
Any faith, yeah.
They say one thing, they do another. So I was like, honestly, fuck this. So I left it, and I just also saw all the misogyny within it too, and me being the first grandkid in that family to grow up in Canada was a big thing as well, because I essentially paved the way for all my cousins. Like, what's the thing? It's like I walked so they can run kind of thing. Literally, well, yeah, hell yeah, but like I got fucked.
What do you mean? They're reading you so hard right now.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I don't talk to any of my family. Like I've excommunicated all of them. I don't talk to any of them anymore because in their eyes, I was always the bad kid. I was always the one who fucked it up. I'm the devil. I'm the devil on earth, literally, like to them. So it's like, whatever. Fuck you guys. Not going to talk to you anymore. And because of that, I just kind of like did everything on my own as well. Actually, additionally to that, I had a really shitty dad, like a really abusive dad who my parents, I think they divorced when I was like 10. And it was like a really messy divorce, like really bad, like police, he went to jail, like it's crazy. So it's just like from a very young age, I've been like, fuck all of you. First off, all of you are dumb. Like I'm the only one in this family who reads books. Like, you know what I mean? You guys are all stupid. I'm going to do my own thing. Yeah. So that's why. But it's good, but it's bad. It's good because I'm like fucking independent as fuck, but then it's also bad because I'm fucking independent as fuck.
Yeah, I feel you. But in terms of, you said you have a good relationship with your mom. What does she think about the way that you are?
I did have a good relationship with my mom up to like 2 months ago. She was always cool. I mean, she was also the eldest daughter, so I guess she kind of lived vicariously through me. She had my back. Like, she never told me what to do and not to do, but the rest of the family did. But she never really stood up for me.
Oh my God, we're identical
because she
stories.
was the eldest daughter.
That's
you know what I mean?
So crazy. We have like identical stories. Everything you said. That's so insane. Yeah, that's so crazy.
Because like she was okay with what I was doing, but she couldn't say anything because she was also the eldest daughter.
Yeah. I kind of resented my mom for that. My mom is the sweetest lady on this planet.
Same,
like she's literally like, I've learned everything I know about kindness through my mom. Like she's the kindest person in all ways that a mother should be perfect. She is perfect. The only reason why I had such a difficult time with her growing up, and something we've kind of since overcome, but it was a long journey, is I resented her a lot for not being a badass bitch.
Yeah.
Because I suffered a lot, and I think this is something that a lot of moms could actually learn from, because I feel like this is prevalent in a lot of cultures where I was like, okay, I get that none of the bad things that happened to me were because of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you did what you could to whatever, according to you. You did your best or whatever. But like, I look at myself right now and I'm like, I get shit done. Like if I had kids and somebody spoke to my kids or did what was done to us as kids,
backhand right away.
I would. Are you backhand? I'm going to the ends of this earth to completely wipe you off the face of the planet.
Yeah, same.
Are you crazy? But my mom, because she was such a docile person.
Well, it was a different generation too, right?
It took me a really long time to accept that.
Yeah, same. I'm still going through it.
I know, me too.
It was just a different generation. I think we just have to be consistently remind ourselves of like, they did the best that they thought they were doing in that time. Yeah. And we can't even compare because it's so different. Yeah. It's just like a completely different...
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucked.
But my mom's learning now, you know?
It's good.
She's with the shits now. She can hang.
Yeah.
Now she can hang.
That's good. Are they still in Iran or do they
No, my mom is here now. Now, there's like when I was fully an adult and I no longer needed my mom to stand up for me, a couple times she stood up for me and I was like...
Really?
Listen, yeah. I had to tell her, I was like, listen, Mom, like... That was for like 10 years ago. Now it's actually kind of annoying. Like,
yeah, it's funny. They always treat you like you're a 5-year-old, and it's like, ugh, go away.
Yeah, it's like, are you trying to make yourself feel better?
Literally. I guess they are in a way. Yeah. They're trying to like make up for
lost
the
time.
Times. Yeah, maybe.
I'll let her have a 1-2 here and there. You know, I'll let her boss me around here and there sometimes. Like my mom never tells me anything, but I used to have like a tongue piercing, and it was the first time when my mom like literally took me out into my balcony and like I'll never forget this day. She was trying something new, you know. She looks at me and she goes, "I've never said anything to you about any of your tattoos or piercings or choices of what you wear or whatever, but I'm really worried that you're gonna sleep and it's gonna come off and you're gonna choke on it." And she's like, "Can you please take it off?" And in my head, I was thinking exactly what you're about. Like, that's not a thing,
so
you know?
funny.
Like, it's just how unlucky would I have to be, like, you know? But I was like, I thought about it and I was like, I'm gonna let her have this one. You know, she hasn't had that many W's in her life. I'm gonna let her. I'm gonna let her hold this one.
W's.
But yeah,
That's so funny.
That's so funny. Crack myself up sometimes. Do you laugh at your own jokes?
All the time.
Do people tell you not to?
No. I was actually telling Blondie the other day because Blondie is notoriously just like introverted, homebody, geeky, quiet, and like you kind of always need that in a relationship. He is so like black cat energy, sits there very quiet, whatever. So the other day we were talking, I was like, he said something. No, sorry, I said something and he laughed, and I was like, "Do you like the fact that I make you laugh?" I was like poke fun of him like that. He's like, "Yeah, somebody's got to do it. You even laugh at your own jokes." I'm like, "Yeah, I need to carry this fucking relationship on my back."
Yeah,
it was funny.
People tell me that I laugh at my jokes all the time.
I do, yeah.
Why
not? If you're
funny,
funny,
it hurts my feelings a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait, why?
I don't know, because I don't understand why people have to point things like that out. Like, so I want to laugh at my own jokes. Does that bother you?
But why do you take it in a negative way?
I don't. I'm just joking.
Oh, okay. So, like, it's not negative.
You have to like kind of like spend more time with me to get to know my person. I'm very like what do you call it? Like self-deprecating. Yeah. But I like if you get, like actually get to know me, there's not much I give a fuck about, to be honest.
Join the club.
What are you watching right now? I'm curious.
I just finished Sex and the City. I don't really watch a lot of TV or anything because I honestly just don't have time. Do you know what I mean? It's like I wake up in the morning, I'll go to like hot yoga, and then I just start working until like 10 p.m. because it's like I'm running 2 businesses plus whatever the fuck I do on social media and the podcast.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know a little bit about it, but I kind of want you to talk about what you do because you're such a boss ass bitch.
So I have been, aside from like social media for fun, I've actually been working in social media, like marketing in the digital space for, I want to say like 13 years now. And at first I was working for like actual brands. So I was like head of social media at The Gap for a while.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. And then most recently I worked with Chorus Entertainment. I don't know if like, they're like a big Canadian media company. So like global TV, like all of them are under Chorus.
Okay.
Like the Food Network and stuff like that. I was with them for a year, and then I came out and I was like, I just want to start my own agency because like I've been in this forever.
That makes sense. And you started Generation Social.
And I started Generation Social like a year, like 2 years ago, essentially, like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And I've just been like running that with my team. It's cool. It's cool being your own boss, but then it's just hard finding clients. Like that's like the craziest thing about it because you're always like trying to find leads and doing all this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
It was cool. This year we actually worked with Pharrell, which was really cool.
Yeah, you told me about that last week.
Yeah. So we did like for TIFF, he had a movie premiere for this like a really dumb kind of cartoon NFT thing. I don't even think he wanted to be at the event because he was just like there for contractual obligations.
Yeah.
But regardless, we got to do his like whole premiere. We did all like the social stuff for it, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
He's so tiny.
Pharrell?
Yeah.
Really?
He's tiny, and I think he's like 50 something, and he looks like he's 19.
That's crazy.
Black don't crack.
Yeah, for real.
Really, like I was like, can I know your skincare?
Pharrell's kind of a goat, though.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. Yeah, for sure. So then, what about your Chala's design?
Right. So then, Chalads I've had for.
It's Chalads or Chalads?
Chalads.
Okay, what is it? Okay,
it doesn't mean anything.
It's a clothing brand, by the way. She has her own clothing brand, and she incorporates a lot of like Persian elements into her clothing.
Middle Eastern, yeah.
It's Chalads.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's Chalads design. We started it.
I've been saying Chalad.
It's okay. Everyone pronounces it wrong. I'm like, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter because it's not even a word.
You just made it up, yeah.
I think I started it. So when I popped off on social media, like 12 years ago, social media was also pretty new. And as people started monetizing their stuff, obviously they would do brand deals, or like a lot of these like creators would be like, here's my merch. And they would be like a t-shirt with like some stupid saying or like their
creative,
face.
Like,
and I was like, okay, I don't want to make merch because that's kind of ick. I also don't take myself that seriously to be like, buy my merch. Like,
with like your face on the t-shirt. Like, yeah, I feel you.
The fuck? So I'm like, okay, let me just see how I can like fill a gap in the industry. And I was like, okay, we do have Persian designers. Like Nima NY was a really big one back then, and there was like a couple more. But like none of them were doing what I wanted to see, because a lot of them are doing very classic Persian stuff. So they're like Nastaliq writing or whatever, or like Nima and White does a lot of like Shahnameh kind of designs and shit. And I was like, okay, cool. But like, what about like the young people who want to see like
streetwear.
Yeah, streetwear, literally. Like, what the fuck on a hat? Do you know what I mean? Like, or...
I love that you do that. The
Yeah.
what the fuck in Persian writing, what the fuck.
Or like we just released a crop top with this new collection, and it says, Ye kami koskholam, but my tits are nice.
Oh, that's sick.
Right? It's like, nobody's doing that. And I was like, I would
sick.
fucking fuck with that heavy. So, just like cool streetwear and like funky, like alternative wear that there was none of in the market. So, we started out with hats and it did really well. And I was like, okay, I think I'm onto something here. And then since then, I've kind of just like increased the product offerings. And I took like a year off, 2 years off, you can say. It was like COVID, and then 2 years off. And then I just released the new collection like a month ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been cool. It's cool. It could be more lucrative if it was more general and more Middle Eastern geared, but I really do want to stay more true to my Persian side, even though right now, and I posted this on my Instagram the other day, I was like, fuck all y'all, but I love you. But my top customers are Arabs. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. Arabs crazy. And white people. They're buying my stuff more than Persians
I
too.
could
So I'm
see
like,
that.
okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely see that, because I guess it's more like interesting to people who aren't familiar with it.
Yeah. And like some of the stuff is generic. Could be like, we have a hat and sweatshirt that just says like Inshallahing my way through life.
That's
and like they're all buying
sick.
that, and I'm like, okay.
That's so dope.
That's cool.
But which one of these endeavors takes up most of your time?
I think it's probably the social media agency, because that's more like of a 9 to 5 like actual agency mode.
Yeah.
Chalads, I'm kind of running it with myself and like 2 other people. We have a social media girly.
Yeah.
And like a production manager, so it's more casual, because I'm
Yeah.
kind of in and out, and I'm just like doing, because I do all the designs myself, like I don't hire anyone. So that's kind of more
sick.
like
you do all the designs yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like crazy.
Are you
intricate
artistic?
design.
I mean, you have to be.
No, because like most of the
Yeah,
designs
you are. I've
very...
seen your house. Don't lie to me.
Yeah, but that's not me drawing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
but
curation.
still, just the
So
ability to bring your thoughts to life
Exactly.
is art.
Yeah, for sure. But you're saying like, are you an artist? Like, I don't draw. Like, my drawing is not good, but I have good ideas.
Yeah, you have really good taste too, in my opinion.
Yeah, so like, I think it's the agency, and then it's Chalads, and then it's just whatever the fuck I do on social media.
Which one's your favorite thing to do? What's your favorite? What would you spend every day doing if you could?
Music. If none of this,
really,
I want to learn how to DJ, because I think I'm so good at curating music. I think I have a really good vibe, and I would love to be a ghostwriter. Like, I'm really good at writing raps.
Girl, make it happen. You're a boss ass bitch. You made everything else happen.
Yeah, but it's like there's no money in it.
Yeah, but do it for fun. You're the queen
I
of
don't
that.
have time. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's true.
I wish if I had time. I could barely put my podcast out on time.
I feel you.
So,
As I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that time is such a valuable and scarce.
I literally, like, I go by my calendar. Like, I literally live by my calendar. So it's like...
Oh, thank you for making time to be on here then.
Yeah, of course. Well, we did have to reschedule like 10 times, but like,
that's okay.
But
it's
still,
okay. I totally get it. I
like,
understand.
I wish I had more free time, because I would like to be able to put more time into like more creative endeavors. Because like at my core, I'm like a musical theater girly, like, you know, that kind of vibe. So it's like being away from that kind of pains me a little bit, but it would be nice.
Who's your favorite artist right now, like that you're listening to?
Like singer? There's this girl named Asal. And she sings English.
I saw you post about her on your...
she's so fire. She's
what
actually
kind of
coming in like English, like vibey. I don't know. She has like 1 million streams a month on Spotify. She's huge.
Oh, that's sick.
She's doing a tour, and a lot of Iranians don't know that she's Iranian, because she never talks about it. Like, she doesn't even promote herself as that.
Like
as an Iranian.
She's kind of the same.
Sevdaliza kind of does promote her Iranianness a little bit.
I really like her.
Me and my friend Afta were actually talking about this recently, that if you look at any successful artist in the music industry that's Iranian, never talks about being Iranian. Like Snow Allegra, never. Sevdaliza, maybe, like, she has a couple things here or there, hints, but like, not really. This Asal girl, no.
Why do you think that is? Do you think it's because when they mention that they're Persian, they get cornered into the Persian community and then start making no money?
That, yes, but it's also, there's no like there's no positive to it. There's nothing to gain from it. Because Persians don't even support Persians. Like, they really don't.
Yeah, that's really bad. Yeah.
And because you wouldn't even get support of Persians if you're making new, cool music. Because Persians' taste in music is shit. Like,
or at least it's behind.
That's what I'm saying. Well, behind shit, same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They're like 20 years behind. So it's like, even if you were to make something avant-garde, like Sevda did a cover of that Gugush song Golbi Goldun for Colors. You know that like series?
Yeah.
And she's wearing like a really oversized like suit blazer thing. Instead of Iranians talking about how fucking cool it is that she picked out of all her songs, she decided to do a Gugush cover on Colors. They're all making fun of her jacket and be like, "Koteba buzurg to pushidi."
Bro, yeah, I fucking hate when they do that.
You know what I
Even
mean?
when I was making music, and like obviously I garnered a lot of Khashi's fans because he posted me on his Instagram and whatever.
No offense,
and
but Persian male rap fans are the worst.
Dude, I was having such a hard time. No offense, like to anybody in particular. I mean, everybody is the way they are for a reason.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite fans because they literally
Worst.
would not stop sexualizing me.
Yeah.
And I made the kind of music that was not at all sexual.
But
You know, even if
Persian
it
rap
was.
is sexualized, and it's super misogynistic because, again, like we were talking about how there's no female comedians. There's not a lot of Persian female rappers. There is now, granted. There's like 021G and like this new girl named Miss Riri or whatever. There's like a couple here and there, and like they're starting to get traction. But this was like in the past 3-4 years. But the entire Persian rap industry is so misogynistic.
Yeah, very.
Because that's all they talk about in their songs of like, the girl's tits were like this, the girl's ass was like that, she shaked it in my face like this.
Yeah, but it's like that in rap in general.
For sure, but there's still at least female rappers who are also saying like
kind
got
of
that, no,
evening
he
the
he
scales.
ate my pussy, and you know what I mean? What's the song that Ice Spice sings? He's a munch. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Or like WAP.
yeah,
whatever.
literally.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least there's a balance. But in Persian rap, there's no balance. Up to
Yeah,
like
okay.
a couple years ago where these girls are coming out now, but even still, there's only like 2 compared to like 30
That's so
Persian
true.
male
You
rappers.
think about these things a lot, hey?
I do, because I'm so passionate about the music industry,
Your,
especially.
your sleep schedule must be fucked. I
It
just
is.
know you're rolling around at 4 a.m. thinking about fucking
You know
Assad.
why? Because like Persians like to talk a big game of how we're so great and we're the best, but like we're really not. Like, I'm sorry, we like to boast a lot, but really not. Because look at our music industry. Our music industry is shit. Because our, like, everyone, and not even just rappers, just music industry as a whole has stayed stagnant for the past, I want to say, like, 30 years. Like, there's been no progression. There's been no, like...
Hear me out.
Yeah.
I agree and disagree with that.
Okay, cool.
Because
Tell me
love the way
more.
you said that. The only reason is because I feel like Persian music at its core, I think it's very beautiful. I think that our language is very poetic, and the way that we're even just like our vocabulary is so vast and it's so dope. And we traditionally had really cool traditional instruments and really cool traditional aspects to our music that was really dope. I think we started going left when we started kind of getting whitewashed and trying to follow Western trends. And when we started following Western trends, we were always a year, 2 years, 6 months, whatever behind.
Yeah, because that's why, like, The Weeknd comes out, and then 6 months later, all the Persian rappers start making Weeknd vibe songs.
Yeah.
And you're like, bro, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
so I don't necessarily...
Bad Bunny gets big, and then everyone else 6 months later, they're doing reggaeton beats. They're like, okay,
bad.
literally.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree
yeah.
with that. They're just following the trends, but they're always behind. They're never innovating by themselves.
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks, man. And another thing that I always talk about, just in my own circle, I'm like, look at every other nationality. They have a breakout star, like a breakout singer to infiltrate the Western like vibe. Like Rosalia, amazing. She sings in like authentic, the traditional like flamenco style singing, but she still made it big. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in like when you look at the Arabs now, there's 2 artists that are making it, infiltrating too. There's like Saint Levant and Eliana. I don't know if you know them, but they're getting big. So it's like, when is it going to be our day? Probably not in my lifetime, but it's just nice to like...
There are some artists making
hope.
really good music though. Like I really like Afta. I know that you
Yeah,
really
Audio's good.
advocate for him and always
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
him up everywhere, which I really rate as
Yeah,
well.
he's really good.
He's really dope.
He's really
I really
good.
like what he's
Danny
doing.
is really good, but he's more like...
Oh, Danny's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I love him so
Danny's
much. I'm such
so
a
good.
fangirl for Danny. It's crazy.
100%. Danny and Audio are good. Danny and Audio are two people that I'm like, okay, I'm proud to like introduce you to non-Iranians. As like when my like white friends ask me like, oh, can you show us Persian music? Like I always show them either Danny or Audio or Sevdaliza or Snow Allegra. But they already know Snow Allegra, and then when they find out she's Persian, they're like, what the fuck?
Oh shit! Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, bitch.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Do you want to take another shot?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think about that a lot too. I think about why the Persian music industry is the way it is. It breaks my heart a little bit too. But then again, what are you going to do, right? Like, for as long... It's like that with human beings, though. Like, notice how when people start following trends just for the sake of following trends... I hate that. It never feels right. Yeah. It never looks right. It never feels right. It never transcends the message they want to give off. 100%. But when you start being yourself and your vibe or whatever, your trend is just your own thing, it works no matter what it is.
Sorry, I'm just getting comfortable.
It's okay. Get comfortable.
What was I gonna say? That's why I just want to see more like Persian female rappers, girl. Like it would be so cool. Like one thing that I kind of have something like this, maybe coming out on just Instagram as a fun little thing. Ooh. But I just want to see more like sexual raps. I want to see a girl talk about like some shit. You know,
some shit that guys would talk about.
Yeah, cause there's this one Persian rapper girl. Her name is Riri or something, and she just gave out a song. It's called XXL, and I love her chorus. I think.
What is it?
It's a rap. It's a rap.
What's the chorus? Hit me with it.
Fuck, I don't even. It's like I gotta play it for you. Because I've not even memorized it. It's like came out like 2 days ago.
Okay, what is it about? Why do you like it so much?
It's called XXL, and like the chorus is all like big booty, big dollars, big bands. It's really cool. It's just very like gangstery girl, and then her verse is good, but. The thing is, like, her second verse, she got a guy to hop on the song. And I'm like, why the fuck would you get a guy to hop on the song? And I was just, like, in the shower after listening to the song because I was just, like, inspired by it. And I just wrote a whole verse. And I was like, I just need to film this and put it on Instagram just for fun. Because that's one thing cool. I do, too. I just write little verses. I used to do it on, like, Doja Cat songs. But now I'm like, let's
I like that about you. I feel like one thing that I always thought about in my life is that, like, being... Because I feel like a lot of people are like this. Knowing how to do... an art, like a medium of art, how to perform in a particular artful skill is not necessarily being an artist. I feel
you
like
can just do it for fun.
I feel like being an artist is all about like your soul, your spirit. Exactly. You just have a spirit that wants to create, wants to bring things creative. To life.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel
think
like we're
all
that.
Creative. Well, I think everyone has it, but I think people are scared. Like, let's say there's another person who's really good at writing poems where they're like, I don't know, I could never be a rapper because people are gonna be like, oh, what does she think she is, a rapper? It's like, no, just do it. Yeah, we're all rappers. Poetry is rap. Yeah. Fucking Rumi was a rapper too, probably. He just didn't have beats. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
He didn't have a producer. Like,
and besides, who cares? Do it. It's bad. Whatever.
Literally.
Life moves on.
Literally. Like and it's funny because every time I do one of these rap or singing kind of parody kind of things, in the beginning of it, I always say, I'm not a rapper, but this is what my verse would sound like if I was on Paint the Town Red. Or I'm not a singer, but this is what Chapel Roan would sound like if she was Persian. Like,
yeah, that's sick. I love that.
Just be creative. I think that's one message that I always tell everyone. Is just like, don't give a fuck and release the shit that you have because it's probably fire. And even if it's not, fuck it. You're going to get better. The second one will be better. The third one will be even better. Like, even if you have no intention of being a world touring rapper or singer or artist or whatever, just do it because I think people and humans were inherently created to create.
Yeah, Ali, my friend, always says we're all gods because in a way we're all like God creates and we all have the ability to create.
Fully.
And that's like the essence of God in all of us and you have to listen to it. And,
exactly.
You know, I rate that. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
On that note, let's take a shot.
Cheers. Why do you hit it on the table?
I don't know. It's like a respect thing. I always do.
I like this.
They say you shouldn't. They say if you don't make a face once, you'll never make it again.
Really? But it tastes like caramel. It has like a.
Girl,
not being a whiskey connoisseur, it has a slight hint of caramel.
Girl, I do not taste no caramel.
With some top notes of smoky mahogany. Like literally.
You're so funny. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was actually genuinely really curious about this. Normally, I don't give a fuck what anyone has to say in terms of advice or life lessons or whatever. But I'm actually very curious to hear yours. What are like, so you're 34 now. Mm-hmm. If you were to like sum up your 34 years of life experience into like 3 or 4 lessons, what would you have to say?
The first lesson that I keep on repeating to everyone is, you know, when you're younger and you see your parents or you see older people, you're like, damn, 34 must be so old. They must know everything. You don't know shit.
Yeah.
You don't know shit. Like, people think you got to figure it out just because you're an adult and you pay taxes. No, you don't know shit. You're just a little bit smarter at dealing with the shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to go crazy and do some off-the-cuff stuff. But, so there's that. So never think that older people are smarter. Yeah. And that's why I also don't believe in the respect your elders. No, because elders probably don't know shit either. They're just older.
Yeah. That's actually an interesting perspective.
Yeah. And then the second one would probably just be like my motto, man. Don't give a fuck. Give no fucks. Yeah. Because like at the end of the day, if it doesn't pay your bills, and if it doesn't make you happy, and if it doesn't give you orgasms, then you shouldn't give a fuck about anything, honestly.
Fair enough.
Seriously, because, like, who cares about what other people are going to think ever? And I think that's one of the biggest questions I get on my podcast is they always ask, Sahar, how are you so confident? And I'm like, it's because I've never given a fuck. And to a fault, you know, it's maybe something that I'm also working on to maybe sometimes give a fuck. But, like, literally don't give a fuck. And I think especially in our culture, like, we give too many fucks. We give all the fucks. Just stop. Just
we give all the fucks.
Literally.
You should make that one of your designs. We give all the fucks.
Actually, we have a t-shirt. And it's a comic book girl. And it looks like a comic book. And the girl's saying, give a fuck, amo gom karda.
Oh, that's so
but yeah, just like don't give a fuck about what people think, because I think that's what keeps people from doing what they want to do or like pursuing things that they want to pursue. Like really, like at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, then fuck everyone else. Literally. No, It doesn't matter if it's your mom, your dad, your boyfriend, your husband, whatever.
That's
like just do it.
I like that. Those are good ones.
Yeah, because life's too short. Honestly, I blinked and I'm 34. And it's crazy because I was in that 10-year relationship, so I honestly really do believe, and I tell everyone, I'm like, I'm actually 24 because I lost 10 years.
Yeah.
I really
did.
But
do you feel like you lost it, or do you feel like it was like you learned something?
Like, I don't regret it. Yeah, I learned some things, but I could have learned those things in 3 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I could have.
That's why you gotta know when to leave.
Yeah, and
I don't mean that just to you. I mean even about
anyone.
Jobs, friendships, anything.
Anyone.
Like you sure. Everybody's like, nothing is wasted time. Everything is a lesson. It's like, but what you said is so true. Yeah, it's a lesson, but up until a certain point. Because otherwise, that time spent itself becomes a lesson.
Yeah.
To never do that.
It was
shit
literally
again.
like I always tell people, I'm like, in the first like 4 years, I knew that it wasn't it, but I stayed for the 6 because I just like was such a dimmed light person because he just brought me down so much. I became so depressed, and it was a form of self-harm, if anything. You know, some people cut themselves, trigger warning. Other people stay in shitty relationships because they think that this is the love that I probably deserve because they think so lowly of themselves. And that was literally me. So yeah.
I was in one relationship that really, really dimmed my light in that way. Yeah. And to be honest, to this day, looking back, I have no idea how someone like me, like,
same,
ended up.
Girl,
like
I
that.
don't even recognize the person that I was in those 10 years. Like, sometimes even when I think about it, like, sometimes as a joke, I tell people on Instagram, I'll put a story and be like, why the fuck do you guys even follow me? Because, like, who the fuck was that? Like, why the fuck did y'all like her? I judge all of you. Like, unfollow me right now. Yeah. What the hell? Because it's, like, weird. Like, I was such a different person. I was so not me. And I was actually such a negative energy, too. Like, now when I think about how I am now, I'm like, damn, like, night and day difference.
Are you guys still friends?
No.
What do you think about being friends with your exes? Is that something that to you is possible, or something that you should just let go and move on?
I think it depends. I don't know. Personally, I really don't know. I think it's like case by case basis, honestly.
That's
like,
such a lawyer response.
Right?
It depends. It's a case by case.
But it really does. Because, like, in my case, like, absolutely not. There's no way. Like, absolutely not. In some cases, if it was like, let's say, even if in some cases there's like a relationship where the two people still love each other, but like just not the right time and they have to split up, but there's still love there. Yeah. Maybe they can be friends, maybe, but like I think some time has to pass. It can't be like right away, let's be besties kind of thing. I don't know. It's case by case basis, but I don't know. I think I've gotten that question before actually, and I think about it even like in the scope of like being in an open relationship kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be okay with it, I think. But some time has to pass for sure.
Yeah. To be honest, like because I've been in like I said, I've been in a similar relationship and I have had to um in my case, I had to be friends with this person because this friend like was a mutual friend of all of my
Oh, shit.
friends. I
Okay.
would see them at every
Yeah, well
event.
then.
And also I had specifically promised my best friends before we started dating that this would never affect our
Right.
friend group.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I don't regret it at all. But the only thing I would say to people in terms of what I asked you is balancing a friendship with somebody that you were in a relationship with, especially a toxic relationship, is just as hard, if not harder, than maintaining that relationship with them.
Yeah.
So it's only possible if A, both parties really, really want to, and B, like you said, there's some kind of love still there. To
Case by case basis, man. I don't know.
for
It's
sure.
a weird question.
It's a tricky one, yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you jealous?
Oh.
Are you a jealous
People ask
person?
me that too because again, because of the whole open relationship thing.
I feel like you're a little jealous.
I'm jealous if there's emotional connection, which is why I'm not polyamorous. Because I can't share my partner in an emotional way. Like, I'm not cool if you also say I love you to someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go fuck someone else, whatever, you're having fun. But like emotionally, yeah, I do get jealous. If there's like an emotional thing there, I'm like, you better watch yourself, boy. Like,
Yeah, I feel you. I actually respect that. I think that's fair.
But anything else, I'm like,
What about jealousy? And I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. It's been on my mind a lot. I don't know why. I hate jealous people and jealousy as a concept in general.
same.
And I don't mean that in terms of like judgment passed on people who are jealous. I hate it in myself.
Right.
So sometimes when I notice myself judging people or like being jealous of certain things they do or their circumstances or even just being salty about good things that happen to people, it doesn't happen often, but I do catch myself here and
but
there.
I think it's healthy. Do you not?
That's what I was going to ask you.
I think like a good amount of it, I think moderation in everything is healthy. I think one thing I've learned from my therapist is that we as humans, we tend to put feelings into good or bad.
Bad, yeah.
But none of them are good and none of them are bad. They're just feelings.
Yeah, it's just balance.
And I think like jealousy, we usually equate it to negative like energy, but it's not. Like it really depends on in what context you're having those feelings, how you're reacting to those feelings, what you're doing about it. So it's like, if you're having salty thoughts, are you acting on it? Are you being a bitch to the person?
Yeah.
Probably not. So,
Some parts of it could be constructive. I guess the thing that's hard for me is because I hate it so much, I'm really hard on myself when I have jealous thoughts and stuff because I'm like, bro, like, we are not about to be those people. You know what I mean?
But it's also a human thing, though, because I think jealousy in that context, it kind of builds up your fire to do better.
I think it's constructive. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
I had to sit down and talk to myself about it, and I was like, okay, so, like, how do we go about this? Because I'm being too harsh on myself about this.
Yeah.
And then I realized, I was like, okay, well, first of all, when we get jealous about certain things or we feel salty, we're going to ask ourselves why.
Yeah.
Why are you upset about this? Is there something in you that you feel is inadequate in that way? And can you work on it? And then B, every time we feel a kind of saltiness or a jealousy towards somebody, we're going to reframe it and try to frame it in a positive way of like, okay, this time it's them, next time it could be me.
Yeah.
You know? So
Literally.
I try, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think it's a bad thing. And I think if it's people listening can take away one thing is just feelings are not good or bad. They're
You're kind of
neutral.
a cool cat, eh? You're kind of a cool cat.
I'm a cool cat.
Yeah, I fuck with you. You're actually kind of
not a smelly cat, just a cool cat.
You're cool. When you first saw me on Instagram when I was making music with Cass, what was your, tell me the truth.
I thought you were a drug dealer.
Did you actually? That's so funny. Okay.
I was like, fuck yeah. So cool. So you had that like gang persona kind of thing?
Yeah.
Which was fire. I liked it. I like I said, I love seeing females doing anything that is male dominated because I'm such a girls girl. Like I really do want to see girls win. I want to see girls fucking shit all over the men because I am a little bit of a feminist, but in a good way. And I really want to advocate for Persian women doing something different because we were having a conversation before we started rolling the tapes that one thing that really pisses me off is maybe not pisses, it pisses me off. All the women, when you go on social media, and if you were to make like a chart of what the female Persian kind of diaspora, or not even diaspora, Persian females, what are they doing on Instagram? 3 buckets: makeup gurus, fashion bloggers, fitness bloggers. That's it. No one's doing anything else. You know what I mean? So it's like seeing you, and at the time, none of these Persian girl rappers were doing anything. So you kind of were the first one I saw. I was like, fuck yeah, finally. Because I've always wanted to see a girl rap. Always. And I was like, yes.
Oh, that's so
did
sweet.
It. And then you never gave out
sorry.
any more music,
I'm
and
sorry,
I cried.
it's okay.
You became a lawyer, which is better. Cause
to be honest with you, it wasn't for me. Like somebody whose life is not like that and is only putting that on as a persona, it might be fun for them. But for me, the things that I was rapping about were not things that I wanted to be because they were things that I had to be when I was younger. So that wasn't fun for me. You know what I mean? I was just like, also,
it's not lucrative, honestly. You're making way more money as a lawyer than you would as a...
I try. I put all of it into these camera equipments. Please fucking watch my podcast, bro. I'm going broke trying to make these videos for you guys. But is there anything else you want to add on here? Do you have any new projects or anything coming out that we should look out for?
No, it's just the podcast. I mean, if you're interested in listening to it, it's kind of become... we were just talking about this before. It started as a podcast for me to like interview cool people like you or like Namito or After or Danny, like all of those people who usually don't get talked to, because whenever you see Persians in the media, it's always like the same people over and over, like Miles Jabrani and blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, we've already heard his life story. Who else is out there?
His life story is
you know what I mean? So it's like it started from that, and then it became just like essentially like audio diary, you can say, / sex education podcast. And I honestly talk about everything on there, from like kinks to... I actually just recently did a whole YouTube video, albeit in Farsi, about sex clubs, which was pretty cool. And just like, different sexualities and genders, just stuff that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
So if you're interested,
just everything your parents told you that you shouldn't talk about and you shouldn't listen to, you can go onto Sahar's channel and listen to
all of
it.
That, everything you might find on the dark web, we talk about there. No, I'm kidding.
Thank you so much for being on here. I really, really do appreciate it. I hadn't seen you in a while, so this was fun for me, just on a personal level. And even professionally speaking, I know my podcast is not where it needs to be for a very legendary guest such as yourself, but I'm so happy you came on, so I appreciate it. And as for you guys, I'm going to link Sahar's Instagram in the bio. I'm also going to link her clothing brand, which is Chalad's Design, that I just learned was Chalad's. I thought it was Chalad's.
It means nothing. It's just a random word.
It's actually a really cool name. I'm going to link that also. She has really, really cool pieces. And I noticed that you said a month ago you launched a new... Yeah. So check that out. And then also I will link her social media agency as well if you guys need any social media help.
I know anyone wants to hire us.
I know that I do. But yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you for being on here. And until next time,